topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hello and welcome to Fearless, Fabulous You. I am your host, Melanie Young, and I am so glad you are joining me. It is May 6, 2026, and Mother's Day 2026 is Sunday, May 10th. I am going to dedicate this show to mothers and motherhood, but I'm going to do it in a very in the Melanie Young way because I have a lot of feelings about Mother's Day. My mother passed away in December 22nd, 2022. I have a photograph of her. I'll just start quickly to talk about her. We'll show the photo. One I'll put up. And she was known as the Purple Lady of Chattanooga, Tennessee. As you can see, I'm wearing one of her outfits. I'm wearing one of her pieces of jewelry. Every time you see me in purple, like for this Fearless, Fabulous, Forever t-shirt, it's because of my mother. My mother was the Purple Lady because when she was a little girl and fat, my grandmother, amazing woman, I've talked to her about her on the show, Mimi, her name was Rose, I called her Mimi, she was amazing. She enrolled my mother in ballet lessons, thinking that would give my mother confidence. My mother was 5 or 6, and as the legend goes, she had her dance recital, her ballet dance recital, and she was dressed as a purple orchid. And my grandmother, of course, being the amazing woman she was, made sure that all of her mahjong pals, because she was a big mahjong and canasta bridge player, joined her for the recital along with my grandfather and gave my mother a standing ovation. And that little plump purple orchid, got a standing ovation. And from that point on, felt that everything was beautiful at the ballet and she was going to be more beautiful if she wore purple. Over the years, she obviously didn't wear purple all the time because she didn't pick her clothes up, but that was always her favorite color. And when she became an adult and earned her master's degree in psychology and became a psychologist working with children with severe learning disabilities, she wore a lot of purple and she would hand out purple lollipops because the children were less afraid of seeing my mother when she was the Purple Lady. Over the years, the Purple Lady became her persona, and she used her royal purpleness to raise money for many, many charities, launch many, many causes. There's the Purple Paws Society at the McCamey Animal Center that she raised money for. There's the Purple Heights Society at the zoo where she raised, for her 80th birthday, she threw a party at the zoo to raise millions for a new giraffe exhibit. There is the Purple Lady rehearsal room at the Chattanooga Theater Center with a portrait of her that I donated after she died. She had many portraits done of her. She was a big supporter of the arts, and she used her purpleness to raise money for charities, to support the arts, animal welfare, and children's causes. I bring all this up because she taught me to live by her purple principle, which is somewhat based on the Judaic theory of giving mitzvah. Mitzvah is a good deed, but always do a daily mitzvah. She was Jewish, as my grandmother taught her that, and not to expect anything back. So do unto others without any expectation that they would do unto you. And she lived and died thinking about ways to raise money for charity. It's pretty amazing, right? So that was my mother. And unfortunately, she died. It was difficult for me because I went home to take care of her. And at that point, she was withering away because she didn't want to eat, because she still was that little fat girl. on the ballet stage and never wanted to be fat and had an eating disorder and eventually basically stopped eating and didn't want to eat. And as a result, her body suffered. But that's not the point. The point is when Mother's Day rolls around, that you may be experiencing a difficult Mother's Day. Not everybody is experiencing a blessed one. There's different categories. Well, first of all, let me just say this. Mother's Day is a big holiday. According to the National Retail Federation, Mother's Day spending in 2026 is expected to hit a record $38 billion. Even with gas prices high, even with consumers feeling the pinch because it seems like everything is expensive, people will spend money on their mothers. It is a priority for many Americans, and they plan to lean into this holiday because you only have one mother. Well, some people have stepmothers, but it is major. And most of this is spent on gifts, flowers, jewelry, dining out. 54% of people plan to purchase something for their mother or their wife who's a mother or their daughter who is a mother. And the most, as I said, the most popular ones besides greeting cards, and this is from the National Retail Federation, are dining, brunch, gift cards, clothing, accessories, and jewelry. Jewelry leads the bunch at 7.5 billion. However, this show is not about encouraging you to go out and spend money you don't have. I'm a big believer in spending time and not money. And probably the most important Mother's Days I spent with my mother were after my father passed away in 2009 and my mother was a widow. I flew home to spend time with her in Chattanooga, Tennessee, almost every Mother's Day, unless I was traveling for work and unable to. But I always took the time to fly home and take her to brunch, and we'd all be in purple. It was always just really special. And it was not about material things. God just know my mother had so many material things she didn't need anymore. The first year that I had Mother's Day and she was gone was hard. And if you are in a situation where you've recently lost your mother and you really don't want to hear all the hype and pressure and, oh, the publicists were pitching me a gifts, I basically put out a notice to the public relations world saying, please do not pitch me a Mother's Day. It is a difficult holiday for me. And that's okay. You can. Over the years, I'm less sensitive. It's now 2026, so I've got some years under me. It doesn't touch the nerve it used to Mother's Day. And so this year we're dealing with my mother-in-law passed away in September 2025. So this is the first year that my husband has lost his mother. So I'm trying to be sensitive. So I'm saying all this because I want you to think about all the people in your life, close or friends, where Mother's Day may be a difficult holiday and why it's important to be sensitive, or if you're thinking about how to deal with it. I'm going to give you some ways to commemorate your mother, even if she's no longer around. I asked my husband, what would you like to do for Mother's Day this year? Would you like to do a special outing? Maybe we could each cook a dish and have dinner at home and have a dish that reminded us of our mothers. But he flat out said, and he said it again this morning, this holiday is no longer a holiday for me. Mother's Day is a non-holiday. Now, I think that's a guy thing where he's just hiding the grief because he hasn't really grieved. But I will honor this and just make it a everyday day. We'll have brunch. We'll spend time with each other. He said, I'd like Mother's Day to become Couples Day. So we celebrate each other. And I'm all over that. If you have lost a mother or are caring for a mother who's going through her end of life, which is really difficult, it's not about things. It's about time. It's about spending time. If they're still alive, I think the best thing you can do is just have a conversation. Let them talk. If your mother is disabled or bedridden or isolated or in a nursing home, if you can spend time with her and just let her talk. Most of the time, the elderly love to talk about their past because they have no future. Ask them questions about their childhood. Ask them about their high school. Ask them about some of their happiest memories and just let them talk. And if they're okay with it, record the conversation. I did that with my mother. I actually interviewed my mother for an article for the Chattanooga Zoo magazine. She was a big patron, and it ended up being a cover article. And I recorded it. And my mother, even though she was in the hospital with a pulmonary embolism, which is scary stuff, she just rattled on and on and on. Her memory was very, your memory can be very sharp when it's memories. And she went on and on and on and on and on. And the article ended up being a beautiful feature about my mother. Likewise, literally within 10 days before my mother passed away, I had a wonderful guy, Randall Shruptine, and his wife come to our house. They were starting a program, a business where they were going to videotape people to commemorate your parents so you could capture their voices and their image before they passed. And they used my mother, when they asked my mother if she minded if she'd be the guinea pig, she said, of course, I love talking. And she did. And amazingly, even though she was propped up on pillows, frightfully frail, we had to put lots of makeup on her and wigs and really make her look part of the living. My mother talked about her life for over an hour, 90 minutes. And it became a beautiful video that we debuted at the celebration of her life that I will treasure because I have her image and I have her voice and I have her story. So if you can do that, take the time and do it because you will treasure that forever and you can share it with your children, your siblings, or just have it for yourself, which I have. Mine is actually on YouTube. You can see it at my YouTube channel, which is where this show also airs. It's Sonia Young, the Purple Lady. So you can see it. I'm really glad we did that because 3 days after we filmed that video, my mother's voice started to fade to the point where she lost her voice. And within that week, she died. And she no longer had a voice, but I have it captured in this video. So spending time with someone and talking is the greatest gift you can give a mother, particularly as they're advancing in age. David's mother, Sally, had Alzheimer's, so her mind was drifting a bit. But we took the time to spend with her for her last Christmas and let her talk, and she was just comforted to know we were there. That's all you need to do. It's not about jewelry and clothes and gloves and mittens and all that. They have that time. So if it's still too painful to deal with, may I suggest, as I did, my first Mother's Day without a mother, we took a long walk. I think we either took a long walk or a day trip somewhere and just got out and did something beautiful for ourselves. I like to be in nature. I love to take walks and bike rides, and that's what we did. We cooked a simple dinner. We had a glass of wine. We toasted to my mother. We called his mother, who is still alive, and we got through it. I have many friends who've lost their mother, and I will call them the week leading up to Mother's Day and say, I'm thinking about you. How are you doing? So if you have a friend who has lost their mother or going through a difficult time, this is a really good time to pick up the phone and say, how are you doing? Don't say anything else. Just say, how are you doing? I'm thinking about you. And if they want to talk, they will. And if they don't, it's okay too. Uh, you may want to do something to commemorate your mother. Cook a dish, cook a favorite recipe of hers, go through family photos and create a new album. Watch a movie that she loved. Make a donation to a charity that was important to her. I know for me it was, she had so many, but I usually do McCamey Animal Rescue. It's a local no-kill shelter in Chattanooga that she raised all the money to build. That's a beautiful way to commemorate your mother when she's no longer with you. It's not just about showing a photo and posting something on Facebook. Do something meaningful. I find that if I can donate in her honor and wear a bit of purple every day, which I do, I'm honoring my mother. So goodness knows The lucky women in the life are the ones who still have their mothers or are new mothers. And I'm incredibly happy for all women who are celebrating and their husbands who or their spouses who are celebrating their first Mother's Day as a mother. That is truly an honor and capture those memories in photos and videos. I think it's great. You're never over posting. It's awesome. I have a friend who's recently become a grandmother. She's over the moon happy. I'm actually going to send her a message on Facebook and say, "I'm thinking about you, Granny, your new grandma. I know it's a joyous day." So let people have that joy. Don't share any sadness or grief about your mother. If they're in their moment of joy, let them have it. That is so important. Let them have their joy. Send them a note. Celebrate with them because everybody has a different feeling about motherhood. Which brings me to this. I am not a mother. I never had children. And in 2014, after watching a very famous TV show host talk about motherhood because she'd had children, she's recently had a baby, and she said, I don't think anyone is truly fully a woman until they've had a baby. And I watched her saying this, and she's deeply religious, and she was going on and on about the miracle of birth, and this is a miracle, and she really now feels complete as a woman. Let me say that to anyone who says you're never fully a woman until you have a baby. You are fully a woman. You are a woman, period. And you can define how you want to be a woman any way you choose. And if you are not able to have children, because I think it's very insensitive for someone to say you are not fully a woman until you've had a child. One, there are many women out there who are trying to have children and are unable to. There are many women out there who have lost children or miscarried. There are many women like me who just, frankly, it was not part of the program of life. So don't define womanhood by motherhood. Motherhood is not womanhood. It is part of being a woman, but it does not define you or anyone else as being a full and complete woman. I can't emphasize that enough. So what I wrote, which was for Huffington Post, excuse me, and I have no water this trip. And I'm reposting it on Facebook, Fearless Fabulous Melanie Young on my Facebook page. It's called Not Being a Mother Doesn't Make Me Any Less of a Woman. Just because I'm not a mother doesn't mean that I'm selfish or my life is incomplete. I have a very happy, fulfilling life that I embrace with appreciation, enthusiasm. And if you are a woman who is chosen not to have children or unable to, or is just time passes by and the opportunity passed you, or you don't want to adopt, there's many reasons. You just say, just because I am not a mother does not mean that I am selfish or my life is incomplete. I have a very happy, fulfilling life that I embrace with appreciation and enthusiasm. This appeared in the Huffington Post and was reposted around the world. And it starts like this. I'm always amazed when someone asks me an abrupt question, or my husband and I, like we'll be in an Uber and somebody will ask us, okay, we'll be in a social setting and they'll say, "Do you have children?" And I'll say, "No, we don't." And it's crazy. Some people say, "Well, why not?" Others will say, "Well, oh, like what are we going to talk about?" Or in the case of a wonderful woman in Chattanooga named Monica McCandless, she asked me us that question, and she's got 3 young children. I said, "No, we don't." She said, "Okay, we'll cancel that topic and go on to another one." And after that, we became very good friends because she's just great. She just knew that wasn't part of the conversation. But I usually, I'm very honest. And then they say, "Why not?" I'll just simply say, "Well, if you really want to know." Now, my husband always says, "We can't." My husband's comment is, "She's barren," which I think I'm not. I am barren. I'm in menopause, but I don't really want to put people on the spot. People don't know what to say, but I just simply say it wasn't part of my destiny. I got married at 48. I was approaching menopause. I did not want to be a single mother. Now, I have several friends who have chosen to be single mothers, and I have the utmost respect for them. It was a decision they made, and they are happy about it. It wasn't something I wanted to do. I didn't think I would be a good single mother. I probably wouldn't be. I would be a better mother with a husband. But by the time I got married at age 48 and was diagnosed with breast cancer at 50 and was running a company and dealing with a father who was ill, it wasn't part of the program. And I have no regrets. I respect my friends who are mothers. I love their children. I respect my friends who became single mothers. I have no regrets that I am not a mother. If anything, I was a dog mother for many years. I had dog, and now I don't even have a dog because I don't think I would be a good dog mother right now. I'm too moving around and traveling, and I do believe that if you are going to commit to being a mother, you got to be all in. You got to be there for your kids, and it's a lifetime commitment. And the best thing I did was not become a mother because I don't think I could have made that commitment. But it doesn't mean I'm any less than a woman. I have the great feelings. I have great capacity for love. I'm generous. I was a loving daughter. I'm a loving, sometimes wife. And I love my friends. And I think of them all the time. So never have guilt about not becoming a mother. And I know that you may be trying and going through hormone therapy and trying to have children. I have friends that went through years of painful IVT, in vitro fertilization, to try to have children, and it just didn't happen. It wasn't part of the program of life. And it was painful for them emotionally, it was painful for them physically, but they're okay. They're wonderful people. Even, they didn't have children, but they're loving, wonderful family members, caring, and it didn't make them any less of amazing woman, husband, couple. They're amazing, and I love them still. So the mommy track is not for everybody. There's no right or wrong direction in life as long as you're in control. Okay? So Mother's Day for me is really a non-holiday because I'm not a mother. I don't have a mother. My mother-in-law has passed. However, I have cousins who are mothers, and I will wish them happy Mother's Day because it means something to them. And I never want my lack of enthusiasm about a holiday to dampen other people's enthusiasm about the holiday. So even if it doesn't, like birthdays are a really big deal for me. My birthday is the day I was born. For me, that's like that's the most sacred day of the year for me, is January 1st, because it's the day I entered the world. Okay? It's more important to me than Christmas. More important to me, it's my birthday. And my husband's like, "I don't care about birthdays. They're not important to me." Well, I celebrate his because it's the day he came into the world, and I'm glad he's here. My mother loved birthdays. She used them to raise money for charity. Every birthday was a charity opportunity for her. And she loved birthdays. And I made sure that I was there for her on her birthday because it meant a lot to her. We gave cards. If I wasn't there, she loved getting cards. So don't dampen other people's enthusiasm about Mother's Day if it means something to them. Let them have their moment. Let them have their moment for birthday. Let people have their moment of joy and love. It's not your decision and not your role to judge or change or or insinuate your opinion and try to convince them otherwise. Let them have a wonderful Mother's Day. If they want to spend crazy sums of money, let them do it. It's individual. So we've talked about how you approach Mother's Day. If you are a mother, if you're not a mother, maybe you're fighting with your mother, maybe there's family challenges. Try not to let the family fighting get in the way of Mother's Day. Set the fights aside and the differences aside, and just honor the mother if she's still alive. I know I have a good friend. She dreaded Mother's Day with her brothers because she adored her mother. The brothers were deadbeats. It was always a tough day. And I always said to her, just think about your mother. and the joy you bring each other, and forget about everything else. That's all that matters. Now, I'm going to talk about another. I've talked about what it's like to lose your mother and have Mother's Day come and the pings of pain because everybody's pushing stuff on you and you're reading this and you're reading that and you don't want to celebrate. And that's okay too. And in my case, as a podcast host and journalist, I get pitches for Mother's Day. And I've said, actually, the groups that I'm on, in Facebook groups, public relations groups, they actually put out a notice, and as did several corporations. If it is not a holiday for you or you don't want to be on our mailing list or a pitch list, let us know and we will honor and respect that. And I applaud companies that take that stand, that not everybody is excited about Mother's Day. It's the same with Father's Day too, and same with Valentine's Day. Not everybody's that excited about it. So take a step back and don't bombard them with stuff. Now I'm going to talk about another very sensitive topic for Mother's Day. And I actually have a friend, an industry friend I've known for years. We stayed connected on Facebook. And I'm deciding how to reach out to her, and I'm gonna do it the way I do with everybody else. I'm thinking about you. I just wanna let you know, I know this is a difficult time, and I'm thinking about you. And this is a mother whose daughter has committed suicide. It could have been a mother whose child has died tragically or died of cancer or just died, but the 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 child, the adult child, the young child, they're no longer there, or they've lost grandchildren, or, oh, God forbid, they were in a school shooting. They're gone. And that is a void that is so deep, I can't even fathom it. You have lost your child. You have lost your grandchildren. Are you still a mother? Yes. You'll always be their mother. You'll always be their mother, even if they're no longer with you. You will always be a mother in spirit. So this friend of mine, I plan to reach out to her and say, I'm thinking about you, and I know this is a difficult time, but you will always be the mother in spirit. And I check in with her. It's not just Mother's Day. I check in with her regularly, and we're not even best friends. We're just friends. And I know she's going through that pain, and I can't even imagine. I thought going through Mother's Day and not having a mother was painful. But I cannot imagine what it's like. And I want you to always put yourself in other people's shoes to think before you speak. I don't know what it'd be like to be a mother who has lost their child and have a Mother's Day come. I don't. But I want you to be sensitive to it. If you have a friend or a family member or someone you know where it is a very painful time, because they could use just that, I'm thinking about you. I wanna let you know that I'm here for you and I'm thinking. You don't need to say anything else. That's all you need to say. Is there anything I can do? You can do that. Would you, like to be, if they live in your town, maybe call and say, would you like some companionship? Maybe they don't wanna be alone. Maybe they shouldn't be alone. But think about that, because that's a gift in itself, to be the gift of saying, I'm thinking about you. What can I do to make your day better? That's a great, you know, really a great thing. So, Mother's Day or Father's Day, and I'm not going to do a Father's Day. This is my Mother's Day, and then I'm done, because it's not just about the show is not just about celebrating Mother's Day. It's understanding that motherhood is a wonderful role and responsibility for many women, but it's not one for every woman. And the older I get, now that I have no mother and I have no children, and I'm my husband and I are doing estate planning, and I'm like, I said to the lawyer, but I have no one to leave anything to. Maybe my cousin or charity. I don't have any regret about it. I'm okay with it. Uh, and you need to be as well. You need to think about, how you want to live your life with or without children, grandchildren. Maybe you want to foster. Maybe you want to just volunteer your time to work with children. Maybe children are not your thing, and that's okay too. A lot of people don't like kids, believe it or not, and that doesn't make them wrong. It just means they're not the best person to take care of children. I mean, I like other people's kids. I just didn't want want them of my own. It's just the way it is. Um, I think I've pretty much covered motherhood and celebrating Mother's Day. If you are planning to celebrate, as I said, the gift of time, spending it with your mother, your grandmother, your aunt who may be a mother, your sister who may be a new mother. Here's an idea for you. Maybe your sister who is a new mother would like to have some time off from being a mom and needs a day for herself. One a great gift would be, I would love to take your children for the day and give you a day at the spa, or go with you and, you know, take care of, have someone take care of the kids, or do something that's family friendly because it's important to them to spend time with their kids. So think about that as well, because not all mothers who have children are feeling great either. Maybe they're overwhelmed, overtaxed, overspending, under budget. Maybe they're dealing with work issues, personal issues. Goodness helps the mother whose husband has disappeared. Be sensitive to that. The single mother by choice, and the single mother because somebody walked away. Be sensitive to that person because they probably could use a friend right now on Mother's Day. So it's not just being a mother or a daughter or a granddaughter. Goodness knows I love grandmothers. It's also about being a friend. It's about being a friend to the woman for whom Mother's Day could probably use a little more love and attention, but maybe she's not saying anything because she's just going to suck it in and be strong. Be sensitive to that as well. So I'm going to end this show a little early. I think I've shared my Mother's Day message and being a mother. If you must give gifts, a charitable donation in that person's name is the nicest gift possible, other than saying, let me give you some time to take care of yourself. Let me take care of your kids or take them to the movie or the zoo so you have some time to yourself. Time is a beautiful gift. Donations, maybe they're not able to make donations, but you can in their honor. If you do want to give gifts, simple flowers, you don't have to spend a fortune on florists. You can just give a beautiful bouquet. I have to tell you, my best bouquets are from Trader Joe's. I can buy Ecuadorian roses for $10.99 a dozen, and they last 3 weeks. I buy them every week because my mother had a little tradition with me. Whenever I would come home to visit, she would always have these beautiful Ecuadorian roses in a vase in my bedroom without fail. And when she was bedridden, she wanted the roses. Now, why? Because my father, who loved my mother unconditionally, every Friday, he would bring her a single rose. That's right. Every Friday, he brought her one rose, wherever they were in the world. I actually was with him somewhere in the Caribbean, and it was a Friday, and he's like, I got to find a rose. I'm like, Dad, we're in the Caribbean. I don't know if it's going to be that easy. It's going to be expensive. But we went around looking for a flower, and eventually we got her an orchid, which she loved as well. But roses were very important to her. And even though, she was dealing with financial issues, we made sure that she had her roses at her bedside every week. And I've started that tradition because it brings me joy. The roses remind me of my mother. They remind me of my grandmother, whose name was Rose. Often they're purple because if I can find purple roses, I will put them. I have my bureau is across from my bed, and When I wake up every morning, I can see these beautiful purple roses, and I will remember my mother. So I find ways to remember her through the color purple, the roses, the beautiful things that she did leave me, which I'm grateful for, and importantly, making donations to charities in her memory when I can. They may not be big ones, but they're little ones. And living by the one thing that meant more to her than anything, which was called her purple principle, was to do unto others to enrich their life without asking anything back in return. For her, that was the ultimate gift, to give yourself without expecting or asking anything in return. I'm going to leave you with this quote that I put in my article that was, again, I've posted it at Fearless Fabulous Melanie Young on Facebook, my page. I invite you to join me there. Not being a mother doesn't make me any less than a woman. And I said, the mommy track was not the path my life took, but it does not mean I went in the wrong direction. There are no right or wrong directions if we all navigate them with grace, kindness, and passion and purpose. I respect and appreciate all mothers and grandmothers and dads, and only ask that those of us who remained childless receive equal respect. Because, in the words of the great Dalai Lama, people take roads seeking fulfillment and happiness. Just because they're not on your road doesn't mean they are lost. Find your happiness, share your joy, be respectful of others, and know that somewhere in the world, you must always remember that you have always had a mother, because that's how you came here. We all come from mothers. And just be aware of that and respect that. We all come from mothers. And understand that for many, this is very important. I mean, goodness knows, respect that. And if that's all you can do, that's fine. Meanwhile, to all the mothers out there who are celebrating, and the daughters who are fortunate to have mothers to celebrate with, and the new mothers, and the new grandmothers, and the new great-grandmothers, because my cousin who just turned 60, Allison, she is about to become a grandmother for the first time. I can't believe it. She's 7 years younger than me. Oh my God. And her mother, Fifi, is about to become a great-grandmother. And I'm like, oh my God, wow. Because they're really young and vivacious. So, the concept of grandmother and great-grandmother is very different now, because I see some very energetic grandmothers and great-grandmothers. To all of them, happy Mother's Day. I hope you have a fabulous day, surrounded with joy and loving family. I'm Melanie Young. This is Fearless Fabulous You. Thank you for joining me. Please follow me at Melanie Fabulous. Check me out at Melanie Fabulous on Substack. I could use some more subscribers. And watch this show on YouTube at your convenience. Please share it and like it, or listen on more than 65 podcast channels, because I created this for you and for women, to remind you all, and myself, which it helps, that you have a choice in how you choose to live your life. That's what we're talking about today. Always choose to live life on your terms and not what society or other people define for you. Their way may not be your path. It's not right or wrong. As the Dalai Lama said, just because they're not on your road does not mean they are lost. But, as I always say, always be respectful, always be appreciative, always know that everybody is different in their own unique way. And for you, always choose to be fearless and fabulous. Thank you.